Hey, what's going on, guys? Well, we made it. We have made it to Halloween, and why not do a movie that most people consider to be a classic? I mean, it's Halloween, and you know I got to do a review on John Carpenter's Halloween. That's right. I just watched this movie again. It's been the first time I've seen it in quite a few years, to be honest with you. And I'm not going to go super deep into it. I mean, this is the type of movie I could do a review, like I could do a half-hour review on this movie, hour review on this movie. There's just so much to talk about. I don't have that kind of time right now, so I'm just going to keep it brief and just talk about it a little bit. So let's delve in. Halloween is a 1978 slasher movie and is about Michael Myers, who in 1963 murders his sister on Halloween night. But for the last 15 years, he had been put away in a mental hospital. Well, the day before Halloween in 1978, he escapes from the mental hospital and returns to the town where he committed the murder to basically prey upon teenagers on Halloween night. Now, one of the things that's really great about this film is it's classified as a slasher film. But by today's standards, and even really standards back then, this is an extremely mild film. There is very little blood. In fact, I can only think of, I think it was like 2 scenes where there was just a slight little bit of blood. All the murders that happen, you see them, but they're not overly graphic. There's no blood. This movie really succeeds with just like suspense and a little bit of creepy imagery too, which is always an added bonus. You always get that from John Carpenter movies. But it was nice to see that they didn't need to go over the top and just be downright disgusting to be effective. This movie does a great job of doing a lot with very little. I really like the fact that this film used a Steadicam to give you that point of view perspective, like the perspective of the killer, which at the time, Steadicam, that was a very, very new thing. Not very many films had ever used that before. And this film, I believe, might have been even one of the first. I think Black Christmas, I mean, as far as horror films are concerned, I think maybe Black Christmas, maybe one other horror film possibly used it before this one. I'm not 100% sure on that. But I really like the way that they use that, you know, especially in the opening. You got the scene of the young Michael Myers creeping up to the house, and it's all done from his point of view. It's very effective. It's a very creepy way to open a movie. I was a big fan of that. In this movie, although not being like overly creepy or scary movie, there's a lot of parts in it that have images that are creepy, like Michael Myers either, you know, coming out of the shadows or just him off in the distance, you know. And if you've never seen this movie, he wears this mask that has this just plain, like, just blank stare. There's like really no emotion on it, and it's extremely, extremely unsettling. And a lot of the imagery with him in it, in the shadows or around by the house, is extremely creepy. Although the whole movie itself is not an overly scary film, the images are. And I think they use that very well to their advantage, and it was extremely effective. This was like an independent horror film, a lower budget horror film, and I like the way that they did that. It really brought a level of like realism to the film. I even liked it from like the opening credits where you got that pumpkin on there with the shitty ass carving job on it. The film kind of tells you what you're getting right away, and I really appreciated them doing that. You don't get some super creepy, over-stylized carving of a pumpkin. You get this little pumpkin there that looks like a fucking 2-year-old did it or something. It works really well, and it just keeps doing this zoom-up, close-up on the pumpkin. It's a very, very cool opening. I really, really like it. Jamie Lee Curtis's character in this film is great too. It's nice to see a female lead, like a strong female lead. You see some of these leads in these other horror movies by either males or females, and they're just kind of idiots. They're just kind of walking around. there's not a whole lot to him. There's not a whole lot of depth to him. Jamie Lee Curtis's character in this had a lot of depth to her. She was smart. She was strong. She was just an all-around great character. Her two friends she hangs out with are kind of just ditzy and just, I don't know, not the brightest bulbs on the tree, you can tell. But Jamie Lee Curtis's character, she's the one who's got the head on her, got a good head on her shoulders, and kind of keeps the group together. Probably the one that has the most logical thinking of the three female leads. And it's nice to see that. You don't see her just running around, not really knowing what to do. You always kind of feel like, even though when she is scared, that she still kind of has control of the situation. Now, throughout the movie, when Michael Myers is in this town and killing these teenagers, his psychiatrist, Dr. Loomis, played by Donald Pleasence, is also there chasing after him, trying to figure out where he's at, trying to catch him so he can bring him back to the mental institution. And his character is great because he's just kind of soft-spoken. He never gets too excited. He's never really out of control, but he's doing his best to try to tell the sheriff of the town the true evil of Michael Myers, and that he really needs to be fearful of this person and needs to make sure that his men are ready to go and are keeping an eye out for him, because he is an evil, evil man. The way that he just describes him to the sheriff is just fantastic and just brings this overall creepiness to the film.
I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up, because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
So yeah, Halloween is a great Halloween movie to watch, or really just, it's a great one to watch during the fall period. It doesn't really matter when it is, September, October, or November. This film will always work. So another great one, I said in one of my other videos that two other ones, The Fog and Christine, also directed by John Carpenter, were great Friday night movies. This is another one too. That'd be just another great Friday night movie. And if you have the time, the best way to actually view this, I didn't do this time, but the best way to view this is to watch Halloween 1 and Halloween 2 back to back, because Halloween 2 starts down to pretty much the minute of where this film stops. So it's a lot of fun to just watch part 1 and part 2 together, because they both take place over the course of like a 3-day period within 2 movies. So if you have the time, the best way to actually view it is to watch 1 and 2 back to back, you know, right next to one another. And that makes for a lot of a really fun cinematic experience too. So that's about it. That's all I really have to say about Halloween. I mean, if you've never seen it, definitely check it out. One of my personal favorites, and like I said, it's a lot of fun on very little. It's not overly gory. There's not a lot of cursing. Like if this movie was going today, it'd probably be PG-13. So, I mean, even though it's rated R, it's a fairly mild film, and I think anybody should definitely check it out. Out of a possible 5 jack-o'-lanterns, I give this 5. Thank you very much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. If you like what this video, give me a big thumbs up. Lets me know you guys like what I'm doing. Like, subscribe, share, comment, all that fun stuff. And this will be the last video in my Halloween movie review series. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I have all the other ones up too, so if there's any other ones that you want to go watch. And you guys be safe out there and have a happy Halloween, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.